Going on, guys? Look what I get to ride today. Guys, this is my Triumph Bonneville T120. And this little hot rod, I don't get a chance to ride this bike nearly as much as I would like lately. Been riding a lot of bikes for the channel, for the reviews, but oh man, there's just something so cool about an old school, big displacement, parallel twin. This bike is such a fun bike to ride, and I don't think I've really done a ride and review on this thing. So, what makes this thing so cool? What makes it so fun to ride? Well, let's get her fired up. And right away. Yes! Okay, Bonneville T120. It's got British Racing X-pipe and shorty pipes, and it is tuned by me. I'm the guy that bent the electrons to make this thing work. So let's get her on the road and talk about this thing. So the name of the game with this bike, definitely torque. So you can see the red line, 7,000. Not much of a technology suite on this machine. Oh, and there we go. Where other bikes are horsepower, top end, rev happy, this is the exact opposite of that. All of the fun is over with by 6,000 RPM. It pulls clean from idle, making about 80 horsepower and 80 pound-feet of torque, weighing about 500 pounds now that I've pulled some weight out of it. Oh my goodness, look, it's not about speed, it's about the riding experience when you start getting into these types of bikes. That torque, that wave that you are always riding, that is always available, is so present all the time with this bike. It's just a quick turn of the throttle, and she just absolutely motors. And if you notice, we're cruising along about 75 miles an hour, just shy of 3,500 RPM. I think that should tell you all you need to know. But what really is the allure of these newer retro style bikes? Well, the ones from Triumph got the biggest displacement if you get the T120. And this bike, the bike at least it harkens back to, would have been the hot rod of its day. So in a way, it's kind of a sport bike, I guess, at least now that I've done a little bit of work to it. But this is the type of bike you just hop on and ride when you just want to ride a motorcycle, hear the sounds of that parallel twin just rocketing underneath you. I love that about this bike. The thing about it though, it sounds good, has good torque, not a ton of horsepower. She's heavy, again, about 500 pounds like I was mentioning earlier. And you feel it. You really kind of do feel it with this bike, but that doesn't mean that it's lumbering. It just means that, well, in some ways it kind of feels more substantial, maybe even more planted in certain circumstances. But you definitely feel her moving around underneath you. But see, that's what makes it fun. You know, a true sport bike, even sport nakeds, they're so good now with their preciseness. Motorcycles like the Triumph T120, the T100, and really, I'll even bring in the Royal Enfield line of their 650 air-cooled bikes. Continental GT happens to be one of my favorites. Anyway, I digress. The thing is, these bikes will offer you a more lively and a bit more of an engaging riding experience. You feel the weight, you feel the bike move around underneath you. And that can be a lot of fun. That's definitely part of an engaging experience with these things. But that's not to say that you cannot have fun with these things. What's the old saying? It's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. Well, really, that's what this bike is really all about. Because a fast bike always feels like you're going slow unless you're just blindingly blasting through. But something like this, just set her up, drop her in, maintenance throttle, power, 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 feel her move around just a little bit. Trail brake, and here's our favorite stop sign. You don't have to have a sport bike to do sporting things, I suppose. But you do feel the weight, you do feel the bike moving around a little bit. Side of the tire, yeah. These are just some Metzler touring tires. But they do just fine for this bike. Protection with this thing. It's about as aerodynamic as the side of a barn. So she's a bit top-end limited. But power is not what she lacks. And again, just with a little twist of the throttle, she moves along just fine. One thing I will say about this bike, if you're watching this video and you're doing some research and you're trying to get an idea for how this bike is to ride just in general, what I will say is this gearbox so silky smooth. It just ding, ding, slips right into gear. This bike, stable at highway speeds, but it does kind of goat you into wanting to play a little bit, I'll have to admit. Get her over here again on the side of the tire. Oh goodness. If we only had aerodynamics. Go ahead and slow this thing down. So if you've ever thought that a bike like this might be a bit lumbering, it's heavy, it's going to be slow, I wouldn't say that it's any of that. It is heavy, for sure, but again, that gives it a bit more of a robust feel. With a remap, runs really good. Well, the exhaust helps too. But it's certainly not a stodgy bike. This bike is every bit as willing to play as any other machine that you would ride. It just goes about it in a little bit different way. Now, as far as suspension It's got the twin shocks in the back, old school, with only preload being the adjustments. There is no other adjustments to this bike. Preload out back, by the way. No adjustments up front. What you see is what you get. It is a windy day today. Little pops. Go ahead and dump her into this turn. So once you're up to speed, she feels fine. Again, I mean, you definitely feel the weight on transition, but nothing too overwhelming. Most folks, I don't think, would push this bike the way that I do. And for a leisurely cruise around town, she'll do great for you in that respect. But she does have the chops to get out there and have a good time. So just so you guys know, just under 6 feet tall, 32-inch inseam, and I am just about flat-footed with this bike, and it is at the stiffest setting on the rear preload. Oh guys, this is such a neat bike, and I don't get a chance to ride it enough. Figured I would bring y'all along for this quick trip. If you ever get a chance to ride one of these things, give it a go. They're a lot more lively than a lot of folks give them credit for. And it just might be what gets you back into or gets you into motorcycles in general. If you're more about the style and the riding experience than you are about outright performance, this is definitely a right place to start to look. But just remember that these bikes do have some performance chops. You just got to push them a little bit, but they'll definitely reward the effort. And with that, guys, I'm going to get back on the road and have some fun with this thing. Thanks for stopping by.